Who's ever heard a prison snitch influencer say that actives don't talk? Since its inception in 2018, the prison genre's parasite-like prison snitch influencers have been indoctrinating their loyal, naive viewers to believe that active prison boogeymen would never dare talk publicly, let alone give an interview on a YouTube platform. Join me today, your boy the Outlaw, as I expose the prison snitch influencers' lies by debunking their myth that actives don't talk, by conducting an interview with an actual Pelican Bay prison Boogeyman gang member. Cue salutations and a clenched fist salute, you two renegades. Welcome y bienvenidos once again to the one and only Outlaw News, the small 2,000 plus nobody platform on YouTube that tends to spray the YouTube yarda with a flare tip can of Krylon Clecha. I am your host, the YouTube Magonista, the voice of the barrio, the voice of the vato loco, the voice of the voiceless. Que pasa, pinche cyber raza? I hope all is well today in cyber vato land, and everyone is here today either 113 or 114% fully fucking activated and strapped with their critical thinking beanies on extra tight today, you two renegades. So, if you think you're suited and booted today, y vinieron listos for acción, let's mount up, Outlaw Posse, and take a cruise to Conspiracy Boulevard. Okay, everybody, it is 2025, it's a new year, and the Outlaw is going to kick it off righteously by bringing you, my loyal viewers, a recording of an interview I conducted with a validated prison boogeyman, a validated Pelican Bay prison boogeyman. But before I begin to play the recording, please make sure to hit the like, sub, notification, and don't be afraid to leave a comment on this platform for your boy the Outlaw to help that algorithm, to help turn our little nobody platform into just a little bit bigger every day, right? So, YouTube renegades, without further ado, I'm going to play you a recording of an interview that I did recently with the active, validated prison boogeyman gang member. This righteous individual truly needs no introduction or short bio, YouTube renegades, because my cyber outlaws, CDCR, the fake news media, and especially the parasite-like prison snitch influencer community, specifically characters like Powder from stories written by lying SNY prisoners, have already done an incredible job at making my new guest host a recognized brand, no pun intended, YouTube renegades. So that's also a special announcement, YouTube renegades, that this individual that I'm interviewing today, this validated prison boogeyman, is not only being interviewed today, but he's going to become a frequent guest host here at the Outlaw. My new guest host is an active former Pelican Bay shoe convict who personally participated in and is a proud advocate for the end to hostilities agreement and hunger strikes. He is a self-proclaimed prisoner rights activist who was validated by prison authorities as a bona fide prison boogeyman, not an associate. This individual is Mr. Brant Daniel, aka Two Scoops. Please say hello to our guest.
What's cracking, folks? I send mine to the worthy. What's up, Outlaw? You know I send mine, bro. Glad to be on this platform with you, man. Thank you for this opportunity.
And I am 113 and 114% honored to have you on this platform, because just you being on this platform and just you speaking your words breaks the myth that actives don't talk. when we both know actives have always talked since day one.
Right, right, exactly. We know what lines to cross and where not to cross, and we've been speaking out and as activists for years now, man, many, many years, as far as prison corruption and CDCR corruption and disbelief in these snitch tubers and snitches.
Now, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your hometown, and how you grew up?
Yeah. So I grew up in Sacramento, California, man, and I'm 50 years old. I lost my life on the streets at 19. Man, they took my life and put me in prison. I came to prison. I got triple life for attempted murder when no one got hurt. I got triple life. Ran consecutive, and I lost the jury trial in the mid '90s in '95, and they sent me to prison forever. And no one got hurt in my case. The DA lied many, many times in my case. But back then was the prison boom. And under the prison boom, you get arrested, you go into prison at 98%, 99% chance you're gone. And so, I came to prison. I opened up High Desert State Prison 1996, February 1st, first bus into CR, Lower Side. And I stayed there for a few years. I was shot with the Mini 14 up there for massive riots. I've been to New Folsom, where I'm at currently. I was validated as an Aryan Brotherhood member and went to Pelican Bay for many years. I've been around a long time, man. I just went through a RICO case with my co-defendants, and I'm 100% solid activated, man.
Okay, now, I think we want to clarify to our viewers that today is just going to be a brief overview of who you are, and that we will be going into further detail on your life and your bio in further videos. But today we're just kind of going to give them a brief introduction of who you are and what they can expect from you when you come onto this platform, correct?
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
Okay. Now, Mr. Daniel, can you tell our viewers, if you don't mind, how you acquired the name Two Scoops?
That's a funny one. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so when I was a young kid in High Desert CR 3 block, cell 104, I had a neighbor of mine was a couple Sureños, and they worked in the kitchen. Well, I was a big old kid, man, and I like to eat and go drive on the iron pile, and so I told my neighbor when he see me come through the kitchen, I count the trays, and I tell him how many people back I am, so I get the right tray, and I said I'll put 2 scoops of everything on that tray. And so after a couple weeks of doing that name starts sticking, and him and his cellie start calling me Two Scoop. Here come Two Scoop. And I fought it for a year or so, and I knew it was a losing battle when the officers would get my mail at mail call and say, "Hey, Scoops, what's your last 2 of your CDC number so I can get my mail," right? And I was like, oh, fuck, man, this thing's over. So sometimes you got to pick your battles. In that battle, I lost because I fought that name for at least a year.
My next question, you already kind of clarified my next question, but I'm going to ask it again just so our viewers get an understanding and a clear clarification that you're not trying to manipulate, blur the lines of reality, or in any way insinuate anything other than what you really are saying to us today. So, my question for you is, are you considered by prison authorities as a prison boogeyman? And what I mean by that, were you validated and placed in Pelican Bay SHU till you either debriefed, parole, or died?
Yes, I was validated as a prison gang associate at first for 6 years, and then they upgraded my validation status to a Aryan Brotherhood member, and that's their label. That's CDCR and their gang unit's label that they put on me. I'm just a white dude in prison, man, trying to live my life as good as I can, with my honor intact and my integrity intact, unwavering.
Okay, so then...
And I was at Pelican Bay for many, many years, about 20 altogether, and about 19 altogether, I'd say 19. And, I would never debrief, ever, and I got out under Asker settlement that let me out of the chute.
Okay, well, you just answered my next question, because that's what it was. How did you get out of the shoe? But you just answered it right there. All right, perfect.
Okay.
So to be clear for our viewers, you are a real bona fide active alleged prison boogeyman, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you're not blurring the lines of reality or trying to manipulate or insinuate to viewers that you're in somehow, some way inactive, when you're really some low-key snitch influencer like the typical social media parasite snitch influencers, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Exactly.
Now, let's clarify to our viewers that this isn't going to be a typical interview, and that I'm actually going to ask...
and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I'm actually going to ask specific questions that will allow you to actually clarify your statements or your position, so then that way our viewers know 113 and 114% that they are not being manipulated or coerced to believe anything other than the truth, correct?
Correct. That's all I speak is the truth. I don't have time to mislead people.
Now, everything that you're going to tell us today on this channel or platform, you would be willing to go to court under oath and claim that these statements are true, correct?
Absolutely. No problem.
Okay, so again, to clarify to our viewers, you're not coming on here to tell some prison boogeyman fairy tale like the typical snitch influencers do, who refuse to provide any corroborating evidence to prove that their stories are true, or any evidence to prove that they've ever gone to court and testified under oath that in fact their prison boogeyman fairy tale is true, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. I just want our viewers to know that we're not trying to manipulate them. We're definitely not your typical prison channel, and that we're doing nothing but telling the truth. And unfortunately, the truth is usually boring. Correct, Daniel? Mr. Daniel?
Exactly. Exactly. Truth is boring, man. I know it is. But it's the truth.
So our viewers need to understand that if they're looking for an extremely exaggerated prison boogeyman fairy tale, they're not going to get it on this platform, correct?
Correct.
But what they will get on this platform is access to listen to an actual bona fide prison boogeyman, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, great. I just want our viewers to be clear, because I don't want them walking away thinking, man, these guys are just doing the same thing as the other channels do by manipulating and blurring the lines of reality, which is not what we're doing. So, my next question is, are you receiving any monetary payment from this channel, or are you trying to leech money off our viewers like the typical social media parasite snitch influencers routinely do on YouTube?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you heard that, viewers. He is in no way, shape, or form asking for any donations or any money. And he's not receiving any money from this platform. Okay. So my next question for you would be, have you attended and or graduated from a CDCR accredited audio podcasting or journalist program, or attended any of their classes?
have not. Never.
Okay, so now what we're doing here, viewers, we're clarifying that my guest, Two Scoops, has never attended any program or any classes with CDCR in which they taught him how to run an audio podcasting program, unlike the majority of current snitch influencers who, while we're on SNY yards, were certified to run audio podcasting programs as soon as they were released from prison. What I'm trying to say, viewers, is
60 seconds remaining.
that the overwhelming majority of snitch influencers are trained and groomed to go on to social media to feed you prison boogeyman fairy tales.
Exactly. I have to call back, my
Yes,
friend.
call me back.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay, so let's go. Okay, and you already kind of answered this question, but I'm gonna ask it again, just so our viewers kind of get an idea and a clear idea of who you really are. Can you tell us how much time you actually spent in Pelican Bay SHU, or just in the SHU units in general?
Okay, so I got 30 years in CDCR. I got 27 in the SHU total out of 30. So SHU, Pelican Bay and Corcoran all combined, about 27 years. So, it's pretty much been my entire prison life is SHU.
Okay, so in those 27 years that you did in the SHU, did you do a revolving door in the SHU and go in and out 4 times, like popular snitch influencer Dubs V tries to insinuate to his viewers? Or did you do 27 years straight?
So I was broken up because of my prison gang validation that they hit me with, the gang unit hit me with. It was broken up into 3 segments, but the majority of it was due to the gang membership. And, this time I've been back in the hole in the SHU for 9 years for a false prison homicide that they put on me, that they said I did, I was blamed for, and I got RICO indicted for. But the majority of the 27 years, 19 of it was for being validated as a member of a prison gang.
Okay, so then you didn't do four magical unicorn SHU terms like Dubs V claims to be, where you go in, you get let out, you go back in, you get let out, right?
No, I didn't get that. I didn't do that. No.
Because you were actually validated a real bona fide prison boogeyman, and unlike his prison boogeyman fairy tale where he tells his viewers that he was in the SHU with the legends. But
right. Well, I've heard a few things that he's done, and myself, I have a problem with that word legends. I think I told you before that I don't consider nobody in prison a legend. We're just men. I'm just a white dude, man, in prison. And the prison is the one that the prison administration and the gang units, the prison gang squad is the one that labels us, as a prison gang. But, we're just men. We're not legends. And it seems to me he's trying to sensationalize. But, that guy's something else, I'll just leave that right there. I think he's just trying to glorify being in Pelican Bay. And, I never met that guy up there. I don't know that guy. I don't want to know that guy. Because I think he's abusing the people out there with their donations to his platform.
now, to be clear, I'm just going to assume that you're going to speak for the whole entire prison class that was in the SHU. Do you appreciate knowing that individuals such as Dubs is on social media referring to you guys as legends? Or would you prefer him not to refer to you guys as legends?
I would prefer just being referred to as a man in prison, as a convict. You know, so as you know, I got, I'm on YouTube as well, Solid Behind Blue Eyes, and I have a bunch of videos, and I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a man in prison fighting corruption, fighting a good fight with my morals and my integrity 100% intact, unwavering. And time has showed it over and over. And guys like that give us a bad reputation. They give us a bad name. You know what I call them type of guys, Outlaw? They're called coattail riders. They ride our coattail, you know? And I'm sure you know what that is.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now my next question for you would be, how are you going to share your personal life experience with us and your point of view in regards to the true reality and conditions of current incarcerated individuals, and to help me, your boy the Outlaw, expose the prison boogeyman fairy tales told by social media parasites, snitch influencers? Basically, how are you going to help me expose the prison matrix?
Through the truth, through 100% honesty, and I'm not going to get on your platform or my own platform and pump up the sensationalized prison, because it's not cool. And I'm going to keep it real with you at all times. If you ask a question or the viewers ask a question I can't answer because of my prison life and the way we live in here, I just will tell you straight up, I can't answer that, and I'm not willing to. So let's go on to the next question. Okay. I'm not gonna get on here and speak on any boogeyman fairy tales or prison homicides or whatever. I'm not gonna do that.
And that's why you're on this platform, and that's why we're proud to have you as our very first ever guest on this platform, because you are here speaking truth, reality, and not telling prison boogeyman fairy tales.
Correct. 100% correct.
Okay, so as we were telling our viewers, today is just a quick introduction of who you are so that they get an idea of who you are and what you're going to be offering to us on this platform. So my next set of questions are going to be kind of sporadic and kind of jump from one subject to the other, but it's just to give an idea to our viewers of the type of content and the type of subjects that we're going to be talking about in the future, because I'm pretty sure they're interested to hear an idea of what type of things we're going to talk about and not have to wait every video that we do together for them to know what we talk about. I want them to have an understanding of what's going to happen in the future and what we're going to be talking about. And please allow me to take a moment to apologize to you viewers about any background noise. It is 9 o'clock. It's 9 a.m. in the morning. And like I explained to Two Scoops, the dogs in my neighborhood are very active in the morning. I have no idea why. As Brant said, they're probably out gangbanging on each other. But I apologize.
They are. The dogs, they're in the yard gangbanging on each other, homeboy.
Yep. Our next videos will be scheduled later in the evening, so the dogs aren't barking. So please, we apologize. But let's continue. Now this question is, did you or any other individual validated a prison boogeyman who was housed in Pelican Bay SHU for life commit an actual criminal offense, or were you placed in the SHU because of questionable evidence or fabricated statements from dropouts and prison snitches?
I was placed initially in the SHU for upon validation over confidential informants saying I had influence throughout the prison population of the white guys. And back then, even to this very day, IGI is using confidential informants to say whatever they want them to say. They coerce them to say whatever they want them to say, or they might not even exist. It's IGI falsifying documents. It's the cops falsifying documents. And that's the way they do this war behind these walls.
Okay, so my next question is going to piggyback on the question I just asked you. What was the major reason you and others were released from the SHU units? Was it due to a judge in the Asker settlement ruling the evidence and or snitch statements were considered false or fabricated?
Yes. The judge in the Northern District, Claudia Wilkins, we filed a lawsuit, and she ordered the test of reliability of many confidential documents that never really even existed. The documents were falsified, and she told CDCR it's in their best interest to settle this case. They came to the table and promised to let us out of the SHU. Gang validation members and associates were released from the SHU in 2015, starting in September to 2016. And it pretty much emptied out all the SHU at Pelican Bay, and most of it in corporate, because a lot of us were validated as an associate or a member. And back in the days, what I want your viewers to realize is, back in the days, if you came in the prison system and you earned your bones putting in work or whatever, and you've done a couple SHU terms for stabbing, slashing, beatings, the gang squad would find a way to validate you as an associate. It was very, very simple. They would go to a prison snitch. They say this about so-and-so. Okay, the snitch says it. Boom. So-and-so gets jacked up off the main line. Boom, you're going to SHU for the rest of your life. You can't even challenge it. And that's what they did. That's how that worked.
Okay, so my next question is, and that's also going to piggyback on this question, are you familiar with who Renee registered rapist Boxer Enriquez is?
Yes, I am. Very familiar with him.
Now, are you aware or have you seen his popular viral debriefing video that was uploaded onto YouTube before?
Yes, I heard some of it, but it just made me so sick to my stomach, and it made me feel queasy. I couldn't listen to him, man. You know, I couldn't listen to that dude's voice, hear what he had to say, none of it. It's just such a disgrace, man. It goes against the grain, and it goes against everything I stand for as a man with integrity.
Now, this video that he made, this debriefing video, was this debriefing video used against individuals to continue to label them prison boogeymen and to house them in the SHU?
Yes.
Okay.
So what they did was they used his videos and they used his information in 2006 to create the famous unit part of the SHU called the Short Corridor in Pelican Bay, where they isolated all the gang members and a couple of gang associates they believed were about to be members.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right now.
Okay, so we left off. I asked you the question if Renee Boxer Enriquez's statements were considered to be false and fabricated by the judge in the Asker settlement.
Right. Yes, they were. They were found to be unreliable and falsified.
Okay, so now, since we're on the subject of individuals who tell prison boogeyman fairy tales, Let's talk about probably the most colorful individual who likes to tell prison boogeyman fairy tales. Are you aware of Michael Thompson? Well, first let me ask you, do you know who Michael Lynn Thompson is?
I know who he is, but I've never met him. Don't want to meet him, but I do know of him.
Okay. Are you aware of Michael Thompson ever testifying as a first-hand witness against any alleged prison boogeyman, or helping law enforcement seize large sums of illegal money from any white active Pelican Bay shoe convict?
Never?
Never?
Ever.
Okay, now the reason why I asked this question is because this individual in his interviews claims that he is the individual that single-handedly helped establish the illegal banking system that which the Aryan Brotherhood uses to launder their multi-million-dollar criminal operation. So I find it ironic that the individual who claims that he helped establish these illegal banks who would have direct knowledge into how the money is being laundered or being housed at, would not provide that information to law enforcement.
He's never done none of that. He's never done none of that. There ain't millions and millions of dollars. He's never testified. All he done is get on there and talk shit. That's it.
Now,
he's never done nothing.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to clarify to our viewers, because they're under the assumption that individuals like Boxer Enriquez and Michael Thompson actually testify as first-hand witnesses, when in reality they give second-hand opinions as gang experts and not confidential informants, which there's a big difference in.
Right, exactly. See, when they're forced to testify, it becomes a different game, because now they can be cross-examined, and the real truth. That's what you call a check and balance, you know. And what they do is CDCR policy for confidential information and to meet their reliability in CDCR is nothing. If a snitch says it, that's it. 5 minutes before that man becomes a snitch, his word is no good. He can't be honest. He can't be believed. 5 minutes after he becomes a snitch, his word is the gospel truth. That is CDCR's bar right there of reliability. They are not bound by the court of law. They're not bound by the court of law to check the reliability. They're not bound to give them lie detector tests. And in fact, they prefer not to do none of that, because they know 99.9% of these jailhouse snitches are full of shit, and they'll sell their sister for a shot of dope.
Now, I think I mentioned this to you before, but there's a video of, I believe it's the IGI, or Institutional Gang Investigators, in which they're talking about Pelican Bay Shoe when it first established, and they go, one of the protocols were that they had to give a lie detector test to anyone dropping out or providing confidential informant information. And they quickly stopped giving lie detector tests to the dropouts, because time after time it was found out that they were fabricating and telling lies. So they've known from the beginning that the dropouts, 90% of the dropouts that are providing information, are actually providing fabricated information. And they've always known that. And they've always done everything possible to cover that up.
Exactly. That's why they stopped giving it to them. And in some situations, back in 1990, and the first ever RICO cases of a California state prisoner, the feds wanted to check the reliability of a confidential informant, right? If they were going to use them, on the witness stand against whoever the prosecuting, and they quickly discovered that 90-some% of them were garbage and were liars. But the standards in CDCR is whatever the gang unit, IGI, in that prison, and OCS in headquarters. OCS is IGI's boss. Is whatever they want it to be. And this is the problem with confidential information and informants in prison. You know, and that's the biggest problem today. To this very day, it's still ongoing. Regardless of the Asker case, it is still ongoing, man. I'm fighting it personally. I've met many men come to the hole or taken to the hole for one confidential snitch at another prison who they don't even know who it is. They don't even know who, you know, where it's at, and it's all false. It's all false. I met a man, and you'll hear on my Solid Behind Blue Eyes channel, who spent 14 months in the hole over one snitch, and it was proven to be a lie, and they had to let him out of the ADSEG back in the general population after he done spent 14 months for nothing in the hole.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. Now, I want our viewers to know that we're going to go into detail into each one of these subjects that we're talking about. We're just giving everybody a little teaser to give an idea of what we're going to talk about. So if we don't elaborate too much on the specific subject, please remember that we will in future videos. I just want you to get a brief introduction on who Brant Daniel is and what he's going to offer to this channel. So my next question for you two Scoops would be, and don't be afraid to, if you don't feel comfortable answering any of these questions, just go ahead and say, no, I don't feel comfortable answering these questions. But my next question is, are you using or aware of others using the End to Hostilities Agreement as a smokescreen, a smoke and mirrors act to hide and continue any illegal multi-million-dollar criminal empire that's being run behind prison walls?
Absolutely not. No way, no way, no way. As far as I know, there's no millionaires in prison. There's no millionaires in prison, bro. I don't know what them snitch tubers are putting that out there, but it's garbage. If there was a millionaire in prison, I'm sure he would hire high-powered attorneys to get his ass out of prison. There's no millionaires in prison. None of us are using that for that.
Okay, so my next question would be, and it's going to piggyback upon that, would you be willing to testify to that statement as true in court under oath, unlike the YouTube snitch influencers, prison boogeyman fairytales?
Absolutely. Right now, put the lie detector on me, and we'll do it right now. I got no problem with it.
Now, the reason why I asked that question is, I don't know if you're aware, one of these times when the author and former correctional officer, DJ Vodka, was on your platform, I specifically asked him during his career with CDCR, did he or any other correctional officer ever come in contact where they confiscated or seized large sums of money from an alleged prison boogeyman? And he said that in his entire career, he had never seen one inmate found with large sums of money, or that any other correctional officer that he's aware of has ever confiscated large sums of money from any inmate that was labeled a prison boogeyman. And
right, exactly.
And any time I've asked Hector Bravo or any of these alleged former correctional staff to elaborate on which individuals have been caught possessing large sums of money, they either refuse to answer my comment, block me, or completely delete my comments.
Right, because they know better. They know that you're probing. They feel you're probing, and they don't want to tell the truth on that because it's not. There is no millionaire in prison. Maybe the Menendez brothers, who are SNY, got money. Maybe Suge Knight, who is SNY, has big money. But, I've been on these GP yards and in the shoe, and I've never met a millionaire in my life, and I've met thousands of prisoners.
Great. See, I'm glad you clarify this because, again, You are validated. So we're going to use their label that they gave you against them because you are validated a prison boogeyman. So you're telling us that no, there's no money in there, and you've never been aware of anyone having large sums of money. Wow. Now maybe the guests will start.
That's exactly right.
Maybe now a guest will realize what I mean when I say prison boogeyman fairy tales.
Exactly. It's a complete fairy tale.
Okay. So my next question is going to follow up on this question that I just previously asked you. Do you currently or have you ever possessed large sums of money in your inmate account, like Boxer Enriquez claims SHU inmates possess in his obvious, famous stage debriefing video?
No, I don't. I don't have a bunch of money in my account. I've never had a bunch of money in my account. In fact, I think the most I've ever had was like $350, and I would gladly send trust statements to show my word is gold because that's bullshit.
Now the reason why I bring this up, and it's very interesting, because according to the mainstream fake news media, prison snitch influencers, and CDCR and law enforcement, you, Two Scoops, are labeled as the number 3 head figure in the Aryan Brotherhood in the state prison system. So I find it kind of interesting that an individual who, according to law enforcement, is considered a high-ranking prison boogeyman, who would be the individual benefiting from the money, is telling us that he's basically broke.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There's no millionaires in prison.
Great. Like I told our viewers in the beginning, this wasn't going to be a prison boogeyman fairy tale, and that the reality of what happens in prison is pretty boring. So you just heard an alleged prison boogeyman tell you that prison is boring and that he has no money.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, bro.
Would you be open at any time to have an official government agency such as the IRS or the FBI's financial analyst team or an independent group audit your inmate account to determine if you receive illegal money from criminal activities?
Oh, yeah. I'm open to it. I'll do it right now. I'll give up all my rights to it. They can investigate. They can probe. They can do all that. I'm game, man. Let's do it. Because I know I've never had illicit funds. I've never had any money over $300-something on my books. And that's
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You know, my wife would send me a Christmas gift. My mom would send me a Christmas gift if they can, and a friend of mine, and that's it, you know. But yeah, I'm definitely open to it.
We should be good. I only have a few more questions. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 more questions.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's shoot.
So my next question for you would be, following on this questions about your money, your alleged $1 million that you have. Do you use expensive, high-priced, super successful lawyers as legal counsel, or do you use free legal counsel and services to help fight your court cases?
I can't afford counsel, so they were appointed to me by the courts. They're free for me. I can't afford no counsel.
Okay, so there you heard it, viewers. The alleged prison boogeyman, who according to prison officials is supposedly taxing all white street gangs throughout the United States for millions of dollars annually, is telling you that he cannot afford a super expensive, high price and successful lawyer, and has to use free legal services to fight his battles. Now, the reason why I bring that up and I ask that question to our guest, it is because if you think about this, if you were a multi-million-dollar criminal, right, like John Gotti, would you not hire some of the most top attorneys to fight your court battles for you, right? If you had access to money, you would hire probably the best lawyers in the United States, right? The same lawyers that got OJ off, you probably hire the same lawyers that Trump uses.
Exactly. I mean, if you got big money, you're gonna put a chunk of that to an attorney and keep him on retainer. And you're talking $500,000 just to retain an attorney. You're not talking a trial. You're not talking to press. A habeas corpus. You're talking just to retain him.
Okay. Now, how much?
And no.
How much did you say for the retainer?
At least $500,000 for
Okay.
an attorney like Alan Dershowitz or that guy that's on the Menendez case. I can't remember his name right now, but he's a really good. Mark Garagos down in L.A. He's a hell of an attorney for the actors and actresses of Hollywood. We can't afford that, man.
Now, I want you to think about that for a moment, YouTube renegades, and use your critical thinking beanies to think about that. Because according to law enforcement, snitch influencers, and the fake mainstream media, this individual, our guest, is allegedly part of a multi-million-dollar-a-year operation. And he's saying that it would cost about $500,000 to retain a lawyer. Now think about this. If you ran a multi-million-dollar criminal operation annually, it would be chump change to pay $500,000 to retain a lawyer. Okay? So I just want you to think about that, man.
Exactly. There's nothing in prison that's good, man. I mean, as far as living life, if I had millions of dollars, I would not be in prison. I would hire an attorney, file a habeas corpus, pay off a judge, whatever I had to do to get out of prison. Freedom is priceless. So that's that.
Yep. Great answer. Great answer. Now, I have another question for you. Have you ever witnessed CDCR seize large sums of illegal money from anyone and convict them who was labeled and validated while you were in the shoe?
Not once. Ever. Never, ever.
Okay, now can you clarify to our viewers how many years you spent in the shoe?
I spent 27 out of my 30 years in prison in the shoe.
So what you're telling...
And I've never come across a prisoner. I've never come across a prisoner that's got their money seized, prosecuted, or anything from CDCR, the state of California, or the feds.
Okay.
No.
Okay, viewers, you just heard him, a validated prison boogeyman, tell us that in 27 years that he was locked up in the shoe, he never once witnessed any other individual that was in the shoe get their inmate account seized and be convicted for possessing illegal money. Okay? So, let's stop talking about the money for a minute, and let's talk about these snitch influencers, because I'm pretty sure that's what most of our viewers really want to hear us talking about. You know what I mean?
That's where I want to go.
Now, I already asked you this question, but maybe you can kind of repeat it again. What do you think of prison snitch influencers like Prison Poser, Dubs, who commonly refer to individuals like you as legends?
In my opinion, there are no legends in prison. He's trying to sensationalize it and glorify it, and he's doing that pretty much for law enforcement, whoever his handler is. And I don't know why he keeps doing that. Maybe because he wants people to think that he's all this in a bag of chips. And I've heard a few of his little videos where he's talking about stabbings and bringing in dope. And there's no real active man going to get on any platform and give up insight game. That ain't going to happen. And I'm active and activated until I die, but I'm not going to get on anything and talk about prison hits, stabbings, murders, money, drugs. I'm not going to do that, and nor will my co-defendant, who also does the videos, Ronnie. And we're not going to get on these things talking like that. And so that tells you the difference between a real GP active, solid man in his integrity, and somebody that's just trying to paint a fake picture, optical illusion, I believe. That's my belief, though.
Oh, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Now, if I was to ask you to pick a specific label for Dubs, would you classify him as a convict or an inmate?
An inmate. An inmate all day, because a convict's not going to say, convict's not going to get on here and give you his prison bio, his prison work, his prison deeds, and give up the game on inside a prison. A real motherfucker's not going to do that, bro. He might, like myself, I'll get on here and expose corruption. And I got, like I said, on Solid Behind Blue Eyes, folks, I will, if I can write it on a 602, a prison grievance, or file it on a federal lawsuit, or in a motion in a federal RICO case, I can talk about it to the public because it's public knowledge. So therefore, I got no problems with that. Now, as far as everything Dubs and these other man tort they'll be talking about, this gang shit, blah blah blah. That tells you who they are, truthfully.
Now, my next question, again, you already kind of answered it already earlier, but I just want it to be clarified 113 and 114% to our viewers, because they're so indoctrinated, so manipulated, so influenced to believe prison snitch influencers that even it's hard for them to distinguish reality from a prison boogeyman fairy tale. So that's why I might ask these questions for you to actually clarify. So this question, what I have for you would be, so have you ever heard of or met personally Dubs at Pelican Bay Shoe or Corcoran Shoe?
Never. I've never met him. I don't know him. Don't want to know him. I don't even know this guy. Never even heard of him. I've talked to Southsiders in prison recently, from that neck of the woods down there. They don't know him either. And, so I don't know where that guy's come from. I don't know nothing about him. Don't want to know him.
Okay. Now, we're not saying that Dubs was never in Pelican Bay Shoe, and we're not insinuating that he wasn't. What we are insinuating, or what we are saying, is that an actual validated prison boogeyman who was undeniably placed in the shoe for over 27 years is saying that he's never met or heard of Dubs ever in his prison career. So that doesn't mean that he wasn't there. All I'm saying is that we're hearing from the horse's mouth, an individual who was in the shoe, that he's never heard of who Dubs is.
Right. Exactly.
Now, do you have as associates Latinos, specifically Latinos from Southern California?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I got many friends that are from Southern California. Yes, Latinos. Yep.
Okay. So now the reason I say that, oh, hold on, wait a minute, let this helicopter go by. Man, we're just getting all sorts of background noise. Now, the reason why I bring that up, it is because I just want our viewers to know that you do talk to quite a few Latinos, and that you, while you socialize with these Latinos, have never heard them use Dub's name in any conversation, correct?
Correct. I've never heard them use his name. I've never heard of him ever. And I've got a lot of Mexican friends of mine that they don't speak about him. They don't know him.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right now.
Okay, so since we're on the subject of talking about Latinos, your Latino homies, Can you los puedes decir unas palabras en español, amigo?
Sí, sí. Yo sé hablar español muy bien. Dime.
Tú aprendiste a hablar español mientras estabas encerrado en Pelican Bay Shoe, correct?
Sí, lo aprendí en Pelican Bay Shoe. Ronnie y yo aprendimos juntos cuando estábamos vecinos allá por 5 años, algo así, you know.
Y la razón que tú y tu amigo Ronnie aprendieron español es para que puedan hablar con la comunidad de los latinos.
Sí, sí, queríamos hacer algo bueno con nuestro tiempo allá en El Zapato y, y comunicar con los mexicanos y los latinos en la cárcel, you know.
Okay, viewers, I just asked Brant to speak to us in Spanish, and I just had a brief conversation with him in Spanish. And the reason why I did that, it is because Brant and his friend Ronnie Yondell, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center and law enforcement, are considered to be extremely racist individuals. But as you can see, these two individuals who are frequently labeled as racist actually spent quite a few years learning to speak Spanish while incarcerated so they can speak to the Latino community and specifically be able to inform them about the current conditions of what is happening behind prison walls, specifically California prisons. And the reason why I bring that up, YouTube renegades, it is because there is an abundance of alleged Latino prison snitch influencers, right? Individuals who have Latino blood in them, right? Their genes are Mexican, El Salvador, Guatemalan, from some Central or South American country. And yet, none of them know how to speak Spanish. Not that it should matter. Just because you're Latino doesn't mean you should learn to speak Spanish. But I find it very interesting that an individual who's labeled the prison boogeyman, an individual who's labeled the worst of the worst, an individual who's allegedly hyper-capitalist criminal, according to what the snitch influencers say, and he spent his time while incarcerated learning to speak Spanish, right? A language that isn't native to his culture. Now, I just want you to think about that for a moment, that we have individuals like Nickelbag, 59J, and Boxer Mendoza, and several other alleged Latino prison influencers, and they don't even speak Spanish.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But an alleged validated prison boogeyman, who we have on this platform, just spoke to you in Spanish.
That's right, man. Eso, mi amigo.
Okay.
A mí me gusta hablar español mucho, you know. Cada día me gusta hablar español y tratar de expandir mi mente y, educar a la gente alrededor de mí. And, sí, me gusta eso, you know. Además de quedarme en la celda y hacer nada, you know. No voy a hacer eso. Yo quiero expandir mi mente y educarme, you know. Me gusta así, you know.
Okay. Well, we're on the subject of entertaining ourselves while incarcerated. I want to ask you this question. I pretty much already know the answer to it. But again, this is for our viewers, for them to get an idea of what we're going to talk about in the future, how we're going to expose the snitch influencer community and the prison boogeyman fairy tales. So I'm going to ask you,
all right.
Have you ever once attended a Super Bowl Pruno potluck party with Dubs while you were in Pelican Bay Shoe?
Never, ever.
Have you ever heard of there being a Pruno potluck party during the Super Bowl while in Pelican Bay Shoe?
Never, ever. I will say, though, that sometimes the whites and Mexicans get together, even the blacks in the short corridor, we'd all pitch in for burritos and, have a burrito Sunday or a burrito Super Bowl. But other than that, I don't know. I've never attended Dubs.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know the guy. Don't want to know the guy. And I'm not saying he wasn't up there. He might have been up there somewhere else, but he wasn't around us.
Now, the reason why I say that is because he tells this wonderful story on his platform of how there used to be potluck pruno parties during the Super Bowl, and that him and every other race would get together and share pruno and get drunk and sing Kumbaya all together while you guys were housed in Pelican Bay Shoe.
No, that wouldn't happen around me and my friends.
Okay.
Because we're not going to do nothing like that. And if a guy having a cup of some prison hooch, he's doing it on the down low. We kind of have a little discreetness about it. But we're not going to do it like that.
Okay, great. See, I just want you to clarify it because again, I'm going to use the label that the mainstream media and law enforcement placed on you to use you to expose the snitch influencer community, because there's no way to deny that in fact you were labeled the prison boogeyman and you are active. So your word is gold way more than any prison snitch influencer. So if you're saying that Dubs is basically telling us a prison boogeyman fairy tale, I believe you, brother.
That's right. Let me tell you guys real quick. I want to add something on this. A real active man is not going to get on this platform or any YouTube platform and expose it to the public, law enforcement, and everybody who hears these videos on how he was once bringing in drugs and the mechanics of it, the logistics of it, nor is he going to get on here and expose why he stabbed so-and-so and this, and he was going to do this and do that. If he's active, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So don't get bamboozled, folks, by these guys because, you got to keep your beanies on, your activated beanies on, man, and realize that these dudes are manipulating prison boogeyman fairy tales to their advantage, so you will donate to their platform, and then they're being paid by law enforcement for sprouting and disseminating slander on men like myself. I've heard my name many different times, and I've heard a bunch of shit that's not even true, and I'm sure you're going to ask me about that, and that's cool. But I know what's going on in prison. I live this life, and I live it to the fullest. And I've slowed down in my older age a little bit, but I still have the knowledge. And my friends are not going to tell these dudes what's going on within our circle of people. They are not going to share with these snitch tubers our business on any level. And so where's the information coming from? Where's the fake stories coming from? Where's the slander coming from? Law enforcement to the snitch tubers to you. And then they're getting paid from law enforcement, and they're getting donated money by their viewers. That's a horrible thing, man. It's a horrible circle of pure corruption and pure crap that they're sprouting on society, man. So I just wanted to say that.
I'm glad you clarified that. I'm really glad you clarified it. Now, since we're talking about these snitch influencer prison parasites, let me ask you this question, because I think you might want to talk about this. Have you ever heard of, prior to YouTube, of the great white prison gladiator and delusional crystal meth warrior named Powder from the Inland Empire, specifically the Lake Elsinore area?
That's so funny. No, I've never heard of that dude before this YouTube shit. You know, I don't know the dude, don't want to know the dude. And you know, I've only heard about the dude on this YouTube crap in the past, 4 years or 3 years, and never met him at Pelican Bay, never met him in prison, don't want to. You know, and he don't know who I am. He don't know Ronnie. He don't know none of us, and he's got a handler in prison. I'm sure it's one of these IGI cops that are controlling him and his storage.
Okay, you heard it here, YouTube renegades. Okay, an alleged prison boogeyman, an alleged white prison boogeyman, is telling you he doesn't know who the fuck Powder is.
Never. Don't even know the dude, bro. I couldn't even tell you what he looks like.
Okay.
I don't even have a clue.
Now, my last and final question to you is, did you have anything to do with making Powder admit he was telling fabricated prison boogeyman fairy tales on YouTube for money?
Oh, yes. So, let me give you some backstory on this. Well, as I said to you guys already on this show here, and on my YouTube channel, Solid Behind Blue Eyes, I was RICO indicted in 2019 with my co-defendants. Stand solid all the way through, unwavering, not a waver in hell in my position, deeply rooted in the truth, deeply rooted in my convictions and integrity. Okay, if you haven't gone through a RICO case and you know, you haven't been tested, that's going to test you like you wouldn't believe. And it's going to test every man. So would Pelican Bay Shoe Shore Corridor. You're going to find out who you are. And how solid you are in your convictions. So, at the time, I was informed that somebody was on this YouTube sprouting my name out of their mouth, you know, and spitting a fairy tale between, out there on YouTube between, that there were some issues going between me and my friend, and that he had the inside and he knew what was going on and all this other crap. Well, that turned out to be that guy Powder. And I'm going to tell you right now, none of us met that dude. None of us would tell that dude jack shit about our business. None of us would tell that dude anything. We would never, ever sit down and talk to a snitch, tuber, SNY, or anything about prison life on any level. And so what IGI was using, what they were doing, they were using this guy to disseminate disinformation and calumny. Calumny is it's information that they know is wrong and they know it's a lie, but they disseminate it intentionally anyways to cause a bunch of inner chaos. So when I found out what he did, when I found out that he was using my name, you know, I'm in the middle of a fucking RICO death penalty case. This guy...
You have 60 seconds remaining. Thank you for using Global Tail Link.
Alright, now I'm back.
Okay, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Okay, so, like I was saying, 2019, 2020, 2021, I heard this guy Powder was on the internet, YouTube, disseminating a bunch of slander with my name in it. First of all, he said I was in Sac County Jail at one time recently, during 2020, 2021, and IGI came to me and said something, and I said, oh, well, and I said, I don't give a fuck, and I walked away. Well, fact is, I've never been in Sac County Jail. I haven't been in Sac County Jail since 1995. So that's one of the problems. I mean, that shows he's a liar. And two, he gave up some story, some fake story that I was in court where some youngster disrespected me and I was drunk and I had his cellie hit him. had his silly stabbing. Well, those who know me, Brant, Daniel, Tuska, they know I don't drink. I never drink. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't taken a drink since 1998. Well, actually 2000 for Y2K. So, that's another lie of his. Well, I seen what he was doing for law enforcement, and I got hip to his skip. He was disseminating bogus information, and we're fighting a federal RICO case, death penalty attached to it, possible death penalty, and they're using this guy to contaminate the jury pool. They're using this guy to influence you guys, the public, and whoever else, La Porta, Dubs, all these dudes. And so you're damn right, I absolutely made a video, and I told them, whoever's using my name on this platform or a YouTube platform or in society, period, in any manner whatsoever, I am going to subpoena your ass and put you on the stand, and let's see you under cross-examination, the real check and balance of the truth and the proof of reliability of what you're saying. I'm going to subpoena you. We're going to put you under oath and challenge your truth. And so that's how that went, my friend.
Great. So then what you're telling us is that you were using legal methods, right? And in no shape or form were you trying to threaten, coerce, or pressure Powder, right, to admit he was lying.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
I just want it clarified. I want it for legal reasons, and I also want it clarified because the rumor is that people were threatening him, when in reality, the reality is far more boring than the truth, because the truth is that the alleged prison boogeymen were actually going to use legal methods to get Powder to shut the fuck up. Correct?
Well, correct. And we wanted to test his integrity. We wanted to test his reliability. And we wanted, if you know anything about the law, and you do, the real test of integrity and the real test of truth.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The real test of truth is how a man holds up to cross-examination by experienced, federal court-appointed attorneys, and how he'll stand his position, or will he waver? It's a different beast when you're under cross-examination. And so, here we are fighting a RICO death penalty case, and we got these guys on here lying about us to contaminate the jury pool. That's, a possibility, right? It's a good possibility. And, so I said, okay, well, since you got my name in your mouth, and you're telling complete fairy tale lies with my name, I am putting you under oath on the stand. But it's no threat of violence, no threat of nothing, but I want to challenge your integrity. I want to challenge your credibility and reliability under oath in a federal court for the world to see if you can uphold that truth. That's it.
Oh, we know he can't uphold it. He's a fucking compulsive liar.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, viewers, for those of you who have a family member who's incarcerated and has been labeled a prison boogeyman, what you just heard right now is the ultimate weapon that you can use against the snitch influencer community. If they ever spread lies about a loved one of yours that's labeled a prison boogeyman, you can always hit them with a cease and desist, or you can threaten to subpoena them to appear in court to testify and corroborate their prison boogeyman fairy tales. Correct?
Correct. Exactly.
See, so you just got game right here from a prison boogeyman that if you want to shut up a prison snitch influencer, all you have to do is threaten to put him on the stand under oath, and for him to have to corroborate his obvious, exaggerated prison boogeyman fairy tales. Now, YouTube Renegades,
Right.
that concludes the interview with Brant today. Again, it's just, I don't want to say it's a short interview because it's obviously going to be pretty long, but I just wanted you guys to get an idea of who Brant Daniels is and what he's going to offer to the channel and the insight that he's going to bring to the channel. He's basically going to corroborate and validate everything I say, and with him being an actual certified validated prison boogeyman and active out at that, it gives him more credibility than any prison snitch influencer or any fake active who's really a low-key prison snitch influencer themselves. Okay, I want to thank you, Mr. Two Scoops, and I look forward to having you back on the show.
Hey, right on, Outlaw. Thank you for this opportunity on your platform, and thank your viewers and everybody. I'd like to say, if you guys feel free to come over and check out my lives and my videos on Solid Behind Blue Eyes. Subscribe, like, all that. Share the message, man. Me and Outlaw, we're gonna, do more videos together and continue exposing the truth and the facts that these prison snitch influencers and prison IGI gang squad is controlling these people on the internet, these snitch influencers, to sell you guys fairy tales at all costs. And they don't care about a man's life. They don't care what we're going through. And so, but thank you a bunch, Outlaw, and I appreciate your time. Gracias a todos. Y respeto a lo worthy, and I did my best, man.
Gracias a tú, amigo. Era un gusto tenerte en el programa hoy, y me va a ser un gusto tenerte en el programa para otros videos también.
Exactamente, man. Gracias, amigo.
Now, I'm glad you touched on your platform again, because I want the viewers to know that you do have your platform on YouTube, Solid Behind Blue Eyes, and you just heard him. You can go onto his platform twice a week and have conversations with him on his lives. Now, I want you to think about that. You've been indoctrinated for over 50 years plus to believe that prison boogeymen don't talk publicly, let alone conversate with us in free society. But you just heard right now, if you go onto the platform, Solid Behind Blue Eyes, you twice a week, you can have direct conversations through the comment section with an actual validated prison boogeyman. Not a fake active, not a dropout, not a snitch, but a real prison boogeyman. So, thank you for joining us on the channel. And viewers, look forward to more insight with interviews with Two Scoops. Something I'm going to title Interview with the Prison Boogeyman.